Balding Bullet subscribed to the channel.
What's up? How's it going, everyone? Just a little bit. Good evening on a cold and gray day, spring day in Northeast Ohio. It's like 40 degrees and rainy for most of the day. Temperature actually dropped, so no bike riding for me. Just got work done all day long. So me and Dave were just working in the studio on a project that is interesting to say the least. One might say tedious. Yeah. It takes some creative problem solving, so it's not completely wholly uninteresting, but then it's kind of monotony after that. Anyways, what's up, Nate the Great? Dirty Rat. Michael Howe. Pudgy's in here. Clunky. Bicycletta and Large Marge. You've been told this will be like the Cuyahoga Falls Coachella, this stream particularly. What's up, Maine Outdoors? John and Thrifty Frame Builder. So, just some water tonight. No real reason. I just didn't go and buy any beer today. So, yeah. I guess the weekend, drank enough beer over the weekend with, probably saw in the last video, just had stuff going on all weekend. So, yeah, I guess I haven't had a beer since Saturday night. I'm sure to most people that doesn't sound long, but oops, let me check on. Oh, it's weird. Your stream was coming in clear on the other TV for a second. And we got Edmund here too. He's roaming around before he jumps up on my lap. So, stream looks like we've had no drop frame, so decent internet for now. We'll see what happens as the night goes on. But yeah, what's it like where everybody else is today? I mean, obviously, if you're in Ohio, I know it's pretty garbage. I assume that's across the whole state. I guess I didn't look at the radar at all because it's always going to rain all day. But a couple cold days, and then by Friday, I think it's going to be warm again, right? 70 on Friday.
I haven't even looked.
Yeah. So yeah, looking forward towards the end of the week to ride. I'm sure I'll ride tomorrow. I don't think it's going to rain. So, but I'm just ready for warmer weather completely. So, hey, thanks, Roy. Appreciate it. Pudgy, canceled your bike order until you're done being in hospitals. Yeah, you're at home right now, though, right? Windy? I guess, was it windy today here?
Oh, yeah.
I never went. I did go outside. I walked across the street to the drugstore to get some Advil, but that was it. And that was a couple hours ago. So, yeah. Didn't even notice it was windy. This building, I know now a lot of you have been here, is pretty solid. If you're in the middle of the studio working, you're not really going to hear the wind. So, windy in Dayton, not nice out. Cold and windy in Wisconsin. So, yeah, what is the whole Midwest and the Great Lakes region kind of crappy weather today. So, yeah. Which means it's heading to you guys on the east next, I'm sure. So, sunny, windy, and 50s there in Minneapolis. Okay, so a little better out that way. Rainy in Montreal. Daniel says windy in Milwaukee, gusts up to 30. Damn, okay. Pudgy, you're home for now. Good. Hopefully you guys stay that way. So. Oh yeah, Raymond, you'd always be about a day behind us with the weather out there in the Hudson Valley. So I don't know if you're a New York Times subscriber, Raymond, but New York Times had an article on, I think it was called like 36 Hours in the Hudson Valley. I was between two photo shoots, so I kind of skimmed it but saved it to read it later. So I think they named a couple places that me, Ben, and Aaron have gone when we were out in Kingston and bouncing around there. What's up, Randy? Cold as frozen snot. Windy in Grand Rapids, Swift Day, David Curley. Yeah, if I had my trainer set up and I really needed to ride today, that would have been an indoor day. 43 and rainy is not, like I always say, cold and rain is my least I'll only go out in that if I'm traveling and I already had something planned. So. Front flat on your way home from work. Nothing worse than commuting on a bad weather day and having to change a flat. So. Roy said, windy in Philly, calming down now. Yeah. So. You'll probably get a cool down tomorrow. Gone riding 13. Hey, from warm again, cold again, Windsor, Ontario. Yep, that's what it's been like here, just up and down, but more chilly than it's been warm so far. We've had a couple really pretty days, but Sunday wasn't too bad. I mean, the sun was out, so it was 50s. It showed a real feel in the 60s, so it was a good day for riding. You know, after a long winter, 50s are, I'm not mad about it. I just like when I walk out and it's just already nice, so. Always windy, leaves on the trees will help. Yeah, we're starting to get there. There's, like looking across the street and stuff, you could see like all the trees are budding. Like all in the woods, you could see all the like the little shrubbery and like thorns and all that stuff is starting to turn green. I did finally see that my rose bush I planted, or that it's like a climbing rose that I planted last year, is starting to get some new growth on it. I'm glad about that. I had to cut off. There was a lot of the tall canes were dead from this super harsh winter. I just wanted the thing to make it though. One, it wasn't cheap, but I figured, you know, all last year, you know, probably got a good root ball growing and it will grow up fast this year. But so I'm glad to see it made it. I would have been really bummed if I lost that thing entirely. So. Nate said, you're the only one in your family that rides a bike. They think you're weird, but also fascinated by how far you ride. Yes. Well, I'm not the only one in my bike who rides a family, but they all think I'm weird and they're still fascinated by how far I ride. So it really doesn't change anything, the fact that my dad rides. My brother doesn't ride anymore, but he was a triathlete, so he did like ride seriously. I've talked about it before, but he had an earlier style carbon bike where they were, you know, the carbon tubes, but aluminum lugs. I'll never forget that. It was the second one he had was cool because they didn't paint the tubes. They were just so you could see like the carbon. It was kind of cool for the time, especially. It looked super futuristic back then. Now it would look, you know, vintage. Hey, what's up, William LeBron? How's it going? Ooh, 40-mile-per-hour winds in DC today, Ryan said. Yeah, sometimes, man, we've had a couple days like that here where it's almost made it just unpleasant to even be out, even if you're just going to ride for the heck of it. Like I do a lot where I just go do a 10 to 15-mile loop just to get out. Yesterday, that's kind of what I did. Today's Tuesday. Yeah, yesterday I went like between a couple things I had going on. I'm like, okay, I have 2 hours. I'll just go out into downtown Akron and loop around and come back and hit the gravel a little bit, some of our like industrial gravel. And yeah, it's like the one way I turned in the one direction, brutal. But then as I was coming down the gravel, felt like I was barely pedaling and I was doing 16, 17 miles an hour. So. R. Thomas, South Florida windy, and MAAB, Sloth, Florida windy, but you must be typing on a cell phone. Oh, here we go. South Florida windy, but manageable, but windy. Gotcha. What's up, Gary? 9 mile per hour down there in Galveston, Texas. Probably pretty warm too, though, huh? Robert, windy and cold, sprinkling in Detroit, so it's a swift day. Yeah. Place is lost. What's up? Yeah. It won't be too long. The good weather I'm hoping for when it will really matter is I think I'm about a week and a couple days. Me and Large and Aaron and Funny Brad will be heading out to the Hudson Valley again. So that's when I'm really hoping we get the good weather. So. William Ron got 2 great rides in this past weekend in Detroit. Nice. Yeah, all my rides on, well, Friday and Saturday, the rides were relatively short because I was heading places on both times, you know. Yeah, Saturday went to a friend's event, then just ended up hanging out so long that I didn't end up riding any more miles. But yeah, Sunday was pretty good. Not long, but I think probably had to be close to 30 miles on Sunday. So, Joe, you're out of Medina. Yeah. This time of year, I will say, like, my routes are almost always windy, and I mean, it's spring, so it's generally windy anyways, but I, I think there's something about, like, when I ride to downtown Akron, I'm riding on the edge of the Cuyahoga Valley, and I feel like there's some kind of microclimate, because it's always, like, windy on that, well into the summer, and even most of the time, whereas I could then, like, get somewhere else and it's not quite as windy, so I don't know. There's probably someone in here who knows better than I do if there's some kind of current that forms with, like, a steep edge of a valley that kind of just, I don't know, has the wind blow out of there. I don't know. Not going to pretend like I know that, but I know it from riding, that when I'm riding that route along the edge of the valley, I'm getting wind that might not necessarily be in another part of the city. So. Oh, what's up, Donald? Down in Cincy. Too windy to ride today down there, huh? Yeah. Looking forward to the next ride with the new adjustments. Nice. Oh, you got a bike fit. Sweet. Something I've still never done. Yeah. But, yeah, I guess I haven't felt like I needed it, but then again, I always have a bad back and sciatica, so other people disagree. The New York Times article was great. Only thing left out was Ross's. Is that a restaurant? So I assume. Yeah, when me and Large rode to Poughkeepsie, we just went to one brewery and then turned around and went back because it was a pretty long day out. So we kind of looped through the town a little bit, but we didn't spend enough time there to really get a huge feel for the place. Dr. Bob, don't hate me, but I just returned last night from 3-night bike touring camping on Catalina Island, not Carolina, Southern California. Overcast mid-60s, mid-50s overnight, great views. Oh yeah, that sounds nice. We should see what that Catalina Island. Yep, it comes up right away. Oh, did you take a ferry to get there? Because a ferry came up. Oh, looks like that's the only option, huh? Oh, gotta put this on screen so you can see it. So where? Oh, so it's like out from Long Beach. Okay. I've never thought about islands over here. There's like a number of them, huh? Channel Islands National Park. Oh, and this is all like mountains here too, huh? Oh, see, there's hotels and stuff. Interesting. Oh, a little town. Oh, cool. Is this the bike trail here? Or is this hiking? Stagecoach Road. So, all right. Oh, that looks awesome. Oh yeah, a bunch of campgrounds along the coast. Very cool. Yeah, the one-way wind. I was saying it's windier in the mountains compared to the flat. I don't know. Tell people that in the Midwest. I just listened to a podcast with Ted King and what's his name, who writes for bikepacking.com. Met him briefly at Nutmeg, but yeah, they were talking about, well, obviously Mid-South got canceled because of the winds and the fires, but yeah. Why did I lose my scroll bar? There it is. Oh, weird. My chat went real weird. Sorry, guys. What's up, dog fan? Just had a nice tailwind during the last 5 miles of your ride. So good. I always hear people say, like, you know, if it's windy, like, plan your ride so the tailwind's on the way back. I guess I just don't ride like that. I ride where I want to ride. You know what I mean? Like I said, I do my loop or whatever, but you know, I have things in mind of where I want to go. So it's not like I'm going to like plan my routes based on the wind. I don't know. Maybe if I was, I don't know. I guess I've just never done it. So. Yeah, William, I hope to make it up that way. We're tentatively planning on making it to Ann Arbor for the 2 events we went to last year. The Handmade Bike Show, which I believe is June 1st with that gravel ride. Hopefully get good weather this year. And then maybe something later in the summer, but we have talked about all making it as a group up to Detroit. So I will definitely hit you up if we do. So I'd like to see our buddy Peter DJ up there. He's actually coming down to DJ in Cleveland in a number of weeks, maybe about a month. But actually working that night, me and Dave are shooting an event for UA. But if he sticks around and rides the next day, hopefully we'll get a meetup. But the wind in East Texas can be rough. A couple days ago, the gusts were upper 30s to lower 40s. Yeah. Oh, so you're saying you do, Michael, plan your route to go out into the wind and then feel fast on the way back. I guess one of the reasons that's harder to do around here, I guess you could with the bike pass, but just the way the valley is shaped and everything, like almost nothing is in one direction, which I guess is good in a way too on windy days. I guess I'm kind of turning a lot, so. But our Thomas, you have sciatic issues as well, but doesn't normally show up on the bike ride. Same. I go out and ride my bike totally fine, and then we sit down to have food or a beer, and that's when it's hurting. I actually took some Advil tonight because the job I mentioned that me and Dave were shooting up in the studio was a lot of stepping up on stairs, stepping down, bending over to move stuff. Then we have lights everywhere, so it's like ducking under the lights. So that's the worst. It actually wasn't Joe Cruz, Pudgy. There was another guy out there this year, Nick. It's like Morales or something. I only ever read it. I haven't actually said it out loud, so now my brain just like give somebody a name and then I say it that way until I need to actually know it. Yeah, ask Aaron or Large. It could lead to some funny pronunciations. But yeah, I don't know how long he's been riding for him. He just moved from Florida, I think, up into the Carolinas. I don't know. Before he wrote the article for not bike, was the Radavist? Yeah, bikepacking.com about Nutmeg this year, but Joe Cruz had written one the year before. So. I wonder what it could be like to plan a multi-day bikepacking trip where you planned your route each day to only have a tailwind. I guess it would have to be one way though, right? Because when you turn around to come back, if you're doing a loop, you can't always have a tailwind.
The weather generally come from the west too, so.
Yeah, because like when Terry B was riding across country, he rode from, they rode from Brooklyn to California, and everyone was like, you're doing it the wrong way because you're always going to have wind. But right. That was the whole point, was one of their friends was moving that way and he was riding his bike out there. So, and that same thing, I mean, I guess if I did it, you're going to have to fly or drive one way. I mean, you could fly out there then ride back, but that wouldn't have worked for what their plan was. But yeah, generally your wind is going to be coming from one direction, but it changes here too. Sometimes I'm riding into Akron. Sure. It's just like,
overall.
Yeah, it would be hard. You would have to plan that trip so near when you were leaving to try and nail it. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but in general, the winds are coming from the west. The weather's almost always, 80, 90% of the time. Mm-hmm. When will I start bike camping and overnighters? I don't. That all comes down to just time and weather. So I don't really have anything in mind. Like I said, we're doing that trip out to the Hudson Valley. That one is like, a lot like Nutmeg or Hodag, where we're camping and then there's a ride on one day and then we're camping at the same spot. So it's not, we will be camping, but it won't be I don't know. I don't consider that bike camping. You know what I mean? Because we'll have whatever we want from our cars. So yeah, After that trip, I'll probably start to watch the weather in my schedule and hopefully get some stuff in there. But yeah, even with that Ann Arbor Handmade Bike Show, you know, if my time lined up right, I could see bike camping my way up there. But we always do that Swift Solstice ride, and then there's always one before that with Joy Machines, which I believe they said is going to be Memorial Day weekend this year. Is that like the last weekend in May or something? I don't leave holidays turned on my phone. It makes me think I have to work all those days. What's up, Blaine? Welcome. Ah, interesting, Donald. In river valleys, the winding river cuts the valley's direction. With the changing directions of the valley, the wind is channeled. That way the wind can seem to be in your face in both directions. Huh, interesting. Oh yeah, last week, if you don't know, I didn't stream because I was at the Akron Rubber Ducks opening day. That was a cold and windy night. It didn't rain though, and the sun was out, but it was cold, and so I was bundled up. I had long johns on and everything, but we had like the VIP tickets where they had the restaurant area for, you know, people who knew the owner. I got invited through a friend. But so basically what we did is we would hang out there, eat some food, have a drink, and then we went down and sat in the stands. Definitely kept attendance down for an opening day. There were not a ton of people there, but still ran into a number of other people I knew even outside the restaurant area, which was kind of cool. So I was glad we went. They had fireworks and everything like that. So yeah. How awesome, William. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully you make it to the Ann Arbor one too. Like, yeah, I think didn't you say you were going to go last year? But the weather was really, really average for early June. So, Got You Shook Photography. What's up? Nice name. There's an echo going on like a 2-second delay. I intentionally paused after that to see if my what do you call the things that bounce? The faders. They're not showing anything, so I have no idea what's going on. And neither is... Oh, it might be this. No, our mics are off on the Discord. Let's see. Let's make sure your mic is off on this. So I muted where Dave is logged into the other computer, so let me know if that helps. Memorial Day is the 26th. So yeah, that'll be the first one. They must have an email list that I'm not on, because who was telling us that? Aaron Novak, our buddy ride with in the last video I was talking about. But yeah, he was telling me that they're planning to do a Memorial Day ride, and it'll be from here out to, if you're local, it's out. Which way is Kent Ravenna? East? Yeah. East. It's past, I don't know, I think it was 60, 70 miles out that way. And they're actually doing it Sunday and Monday this year. The last few years they've done them on Saturday and Sunday. So, yeah. Hi, what's up, Whiskey 6? Joy Machine, May 25th and 26th. Yeah. I don't know if that'll be my first one. Like I said, if there's time and good weather before then, I plan on jumping out on a quick overnighter, maybe. But I think the last few years that has been the first one I've done, though. So, but that sounds about right temperature-wise. Plus, sometimes on the weekends leading up to that, I'm starting to get the garden going and all that stuff. So, using the good weather to do that. But my schedule, as you guys know, is just so random that I never know what's going to be the plan. So. Got shook. Like, that is not something that I would know how to answer, but someone in the chat might know, because those are a bike and a bar that I'm unfamiliar with. I mean, I know both of those, but I've never used them. So, yeah. If any of the mechanics in here or bike shop guys know the answer, but neither brand is sold at my local shop, so no experience. Oh yeah, I would definitely look into that with a bike mechanic. I wouldn't go buying that stuff because don't want to say for sure, but two, sometimes when you install certain things, they won't take it back, so you don't want to waste that kind of money. Yeah. Oh, good. You guys are saying it's not too bad. So, all right. Hey, what's up? Let's see, the Nongski Show. Love the channel and also your bikes. Keep safe, buddy. Warmer grounds from Manila. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Who did I? Did someone do a video series bike touring the Philippines? I feel like I watched that. I feel like I have a little bit of a feel for the place. But did Francis K do a bike tour in the Philippines? Let me know. But I know I watched one bike tour in the Philippines. We've been getting tons of rain, but they are just short showers. Been thinking about taking an umbrella and stopping for 5 minutes to wait them out. You know what I haven't used, which is now a good chance to try it out, is the rain cape I bought last fall for when we went to Nutmeg, and then me and Dylan went in Bike Pack Long Island. I've never ended up trying that out, so that's a good reminder actually that I should see how that works. I know Russ from Pathless Pedaled has been loving his, so. Oh, good. There are people answering the question for you. So, is the SL8 Roubaix, is that a specialized? I think it is. That sound like a specialized naming convention? Yeah. No?
I don't know.
SL8 Roubaix, specialized SL8 Roubaix. S-Works SL8 Roubaix. I think it is. So we get 1,000 answers here real quick.
It is.
Oh, it is, yeah. Hey, what's up, Stephen Marino? Bicycletta said, the bike scene in the Philippines is popping off. I'm connecting with a lot of people from there. Sunday Spotting is a cool crew there. I'll send a video in the Discord. Nice. Awesome. Tarmac. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, like I said, I don't own anything modern, so I don't really know any of the compatibility stuff with any of that. I have a bike that's just a few years old, but it's a steel bike that was made in the U.S. So no aero components at all. Definitely a bike packing bike. A former SL8 owner. Someone else was just asking me a question about a Specialized too. Where was that? Or maybe you guys were just chatting about it in the Discord. So. So what else is going on? What did I put in the title? What did I pretend like I was going to talk about instead of just answer questions? Oh, I think did I title it Cycling Friends and all that? As soon as I start talking about a topic, a million comments will come through. You know how that goes. But I think one of the things that I think about whenever I talk about riding with friends and put something like that in the title, I always get the comment about luck. I think that's what I was thinking about, and we were talking about it yesterday. But I like a lot of the chance meetings in my life are luck. Like, me and Large are practically, best friends, hang out all the time. And the fact that we met is kind of luck. But I was just saying that maintaining friendships and becoming friends with people is not luck. You know what I mean? I guess I'm lucky there's a lot of people who ride bikes around here, so luck's an element. But I don't know. I always feel like when someone's like, you're lucky, it's like, yeah, but friendships are work. You have to maintain friendships. You have to reach out to people. You have to keep things cool. Once in a while, someone's a dick, and probably in that aspect, it's usually me. So you have to apologize. So I don't know. there's a ton of luck in life, and I would never discount that. Like, everyone's career takes some element of luck, and mixed with work. But I just always, I don't know, I'm just not a huge fan of the word luck in general. And I know people are just using it as a speech convention and not trying to belittle any of that. But again, I always just feel like a lot of times you make your luck, right? So I don't know. I feel like I'm lucky to be a professional photographer because I met a guy at an event, or I went to an event that a guy was at, turned out to be a PR guy. Then I made a blog about it. He saw that blog and he was at that event, then reached out and needed a ton of work back then. He just retired now. But so like that meeting was lucky. But when he started calling me, I had already done the work to know how to be a photographer and certain things he asked about. I went and double checked and did a lot of practice before the events or the things that he needed, like machine shop stuff that he needed shot. Like, I literally still lived at home. I didn't have a studio, but I had my lights, and I went and I set up like shiny pots and pans to mess around lighting stuff that was shiny. So it's like, yeah, it was luck, but not just luck, So anyways, I guess that's that aspect of the title. Oh yeah, where is Edmund? Right when we sat down here, he tried to jump on my lap, and I wasn't even sitting. But no, we haven't seen him.
He did back here for a second.
He's sleeping on one of the shelves. Where are you at, bud? Oh, by the way, Nate, I didn't realize, because I had faced it. Nate, when he was in town for the channel meetup, put brought a bag with treats for it. Well, one with treats for Edmund, one with treats for me. So, but I had the bag facing the other way the whole time, and I just turned it around yesterday and didn't realize you had drawn a picture of Edmund's face on there, which is great, and put his name on there. So yeah, that was like a pleasant surprise after having it sit there for a couple of weeks. So Paris-Roubaix never disappoints. Yeah, I could talk about Paris-Roubaix for the next 2 hours. I think some of you might know, I mean, maybe just Pudgy, but when I started doing the streams, I did a couple over the summer and then took a break till fall hit. But I timed it up with the Tour de France because I'm like, well, I could talk about that if no one's in here and no one's listening, because I just wanted to learn how to live stream. I was like, I'll talk about one camera thing and then I'll talk about the tour. So, yeah. But yeah, I love Paris. The women's race and the men's race were great. It's funny, I was talking to Lanky Cyclist on Instagram, and he was like, it's just a race of attrition, and it's boring, and it's nothing like Milan San Remo. I'm like, dude, there were 14 wrecks before they hit the Arenberg. Then they were attacking each other from 100K out, and you never know what's going to happen, like with Pog wrecking and then Vanderpool flatting. I just think it's exciting for hours. I mean, I woke up at 5 and put it on to watch the breakaway go, passed back out, but then set my alarm again and got, made sure I was like wide awake and moved to the couch early. I'll watch that whole entire race. So, yeah, I loved it. So, bouncing bike, like rural cyclists are usually lonely cyclists. Yeah, I did do a video a while ago on like how I was getting like bored of riding alone on longer rides, and still kind of the case. Like, when spring first hits, I'm a little more motivated to get out, and I don't mind being out alone. But if I'm not riding somewhere new, and I don't know, once it gets into the season, I do definitely get bored with the long solo rides, and that's, I don't know. And maybe I wouldn't feel that way if I didn't have friends to ride with. Maybe I would just go out and do those, but hard to say. But yeah, I mean, we do live, I guess also to say luck, and I mean, what the number one indicator of luck in what you do in life is going to be based on where you live. That's all the science shows, obviously. You make more money if you were born in the United States than if you were born in Burundi, but, it's just a fact. But yeah, and I do live in an area that is, reasonably built up, so there's going to be just more density of people, obviously. So can't discount that element. Yeah, if you live in a one light crossroads with no big cities around, it's going to be a different story, and yeah, making your own luck, it would probably then require driving somewhere, right? Which I know there's a couple people commented they live out there, but then they'll drive into the city to do like group rides and stuff like that. Bicycletti said, weather's looking dicey for your weekend 420 camp out. Yeah, but, that's this weekend, so I guess it's not a horrible prediction yet. Yeah, like I said, I know I looked at Friday looking like it's a good weather day, but yeah, I wouldn't throw in the towel yet. You never know what's going to happen with the spring in Ohio, it's hard to predict more than a few days out. I find they generally get the temperatures right, but yeah, precipitation's a lot harder. So, oh, there's Edmund. Must have heard us talking about him. He just walked into the room. So, entered the chat, as the kids say. Oh, here he looks like he's. You gotta do it. Here he is. He does not look happy on his face when I pick him up like that. So, yeah, good luck with that bicycle. If it, I wouldn't. It would be cool to make it down for that, but I have work and then Easter. It's going to be doing family stuff at least on that Sunday. So, oh, Campy names all their wheels after different winds. Zonda is a dry wind. I'll butcher these Italian pronunciations, but Scirocco is a Mediterranean. Vento means wind. Huh. Use bikes. I never knew that. Huh. Interesting. It's a good little, I'll definitely say that at some point, though, so I love it. These little things that make me sound intelligent. So don't they have a Bora wheel set, too? A friend of a friend in Ireland got a race in the FEM race. Lara Gillespie. Oh, that's awesome. Nice. Do you know what team she was on, Pudgy? Bora is a strong, cold, dry. Oh, you had already answered it before I scrolled down. I hate wind, but I like the wheels. Yeah. I love Campy's low spoke count wheels, like the Boras with the, what is it, like 3, 3, 3 or whatever. But Shakedown said the same way I don't want to live in a place where the locals have a dozen words for snow. I don't want to live anywhere there are multiple words for your ride is going to suck today. We live in one of those places. I mean, yeah, we always make the most of it. So, like, for a while, I don't mind snow on the ground. Go out and have fun in it. Something different. You ride less miles, but yeah, Edmund is. Oh, by the way, I know a number of you've been asking. There are Edmund stickers on order, and if anyone has a regular order in, a bunch of that stuff is coming. So orders have been delayed because people went nuts ordering a couple things out of nowhere that I couldn't predict. Stuff that I didn't actually inventory because I'm like, when I get low on it, I'll just order more. And I'd always done that. And on UAE, Dave, is that what that shows? Mm-hmm. Huh. Nice. Oh, that's cool. Really cool.
I don't know if it's my end or your end, but half the pages I try to click on aren't working.
Huh. Yeah, we still have good internet here, but I'm hardwired, so. I have that. You know what we could do next week, too? I have that USB-C to Ethernet. I wonder if it would affect my speed. We should check to split the Ethernet down here and plug directly into your computer. We could try it. Did anyone here do the Barry Roubaix gravel race in Michigan? I thought Ames was going to do it, but I don't think she did because I didn't see any post, I guess, is why I don't think she did. But hey, what's up, Robin? How you doing? Yeah, Edmund's huge. So he's a big boy. Yeah. Bicycletti might host a pride ride in June. Yeah, keep us posted in the Discord. Yeah. If I could make it down there, I would. We were talking about getting back down to Dayton on our group ride last week. A few were. Our buddy Micah was asking if it would be doable in one shot, and I said, if you want to ride 300 miles, it's doable. Seems a little far for me. Oh yeah, let me see. So you got that screen. So there she is. Oh yeah, it's coming in. Like, look how pretty good. Always hit or miss. But, oh, are those pictures of her in like her Irish? I wonder if she rode in the Olympics or the Worlds because she's wearing like Irish national style jersey. Ireland World Cycling Championships. Oh, track rider too, it looks like. Awesome. That name sounds kind of familiar, but I'm not sure if it's just a familiar sounding name, you know.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah. Nice. Donald, you said you noticed in the bike breath video that the St. Lawrence River still had ice on it. Yeah, a lot of ice. Did you notice when he was riding away from the river, there were two people, there were two women in like, look like bikini bottoms? I was like, what are they doing? And he said, I thought it was a joke because he's like out on the pier, bike breath, like in bike breath, the video. He's like, hey, people are still swimming. And I'm like, ha ha ha. And then turn around, there was like women in, I don't know if they were really going in the water, but, and he was talking about the temperature. It was not that warm on that day. So yeah, I was like, but it's Canada. And with how cold the winter is and how much farther north they are, it doesn't surprise me that there's still ice up there on the lake. I bet they had a ton of, like, I bet the ice was real thick on the lake there. So, hey, what's up, Michigan biker? Oh, is there still, so you're saying there's still ice flowing on Lake Erie? When is the last time I've been up in Cleveland? Oh, actually, speaking of the new stickers and just the restock of old ones, I'm getting them printed locally where I got the bandanas printed, Canopy Press. So I've needed to switch over because I was using that, what's the name of that company that gives you hot sauce with your stickers, and the guy turned out to be a fascist piece of shit. Sticker Mule, yeah. So, yeah, going local is better anyways. It's just, I was using one of the big guys because that's who I started with, and it's real easy to order online, but that's no excuse because it's even easier to talk to a person who I now know, so who sends me a proof and it's like, do you like it like this or like this? And I just Venmo him, and then he'll either ship it or I go pick it up. So yeah, that was whatever. I've corrected the issue now, so when you do get stuff from me going forward, it'll be coming from here in Northeast Ohio, helping out 2 small businesses. Should have made tea. What else did I put in the title? Probably just the weather, huh?
New Wahoos?
Oh, the new Wahoos. Have you guys looked at the new Wahoos? I'm a Elemnt Bolt version 2 user, so they're interesting to me. But I thought it was weird that they got rid of the LEDs. So if you haven't used Wahoo, the Bolt and the Roam have LED lights across the top, and you could have them indicate a number of things. If you're someone who's into speed and stuff like that, you could use them for that. One thing I liked them for is when you're doing a route, they'll light up in green when you need to take a turn. So it's like a quick indicator of not looking at the map. And on the Bolt, the map's small and stuff like that. So it's just nice to see that. And if you go the wrong way, it starts flashing all red. So just this quick thing. But they got rid of those on the new versions. But it doesn't seem like they replaced it with screen real estate. It's just like blank. And I'm like, if you weren't going to replace it with anything, why get rid of it? And the other thing is, it's 2025. And to have that big of bezels around the computers, I'm like, why can't they make the screen go almost edge to edge and then keep the unit the same size? Because the reason I like the Bolt, it's tiny. Like, I was just kind of making it sound like, I don't like that it's small, but I do. And so that's also why the LEDs make sense, because it's small, but whatever. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's just, it looks horrendous. I'm like, don't these people who design like Wahoos like own smartphones and see what they look like? And not that I don't want my Bolt to look like a smartphone, but just get rid of those ugly ass bezels. Like, give us the screen, yeah. So I don't know. The good things about the Bolt on the version 3 are the dual band GPS and slightly better battery life. And then I know a lot of people did not like Wahoo because the Bolt and the Roam don't have street names on the map, and now they do. So people who wing it and like to know where they're at, that'll be a benefit. So a couple things that are good about them, but they seem like they're not big enough upgrades to go if you have a Bolt 2. Like, I don't see why you would upgrade right now if the battery is still good. So the Roam is a much bigger upgrade because it goes to a touchscreen and way more colors. So if that is something you like, then the Roam would make sense to upgrade if you wanted to get those features. If you do a lot more on the fly mapping, definitely a touchscreen is better for that kind of thing. But anyways, just on the Wahoos, that's kind of my thoughts. They came out last week, but since we didn't stream last week, yeah, they were announced last week. They come out in May. So yeah, see if the price is affected at all by the tariffs like everything else. So places lost, you're in Buffalo. Oh yeah, so it's definitely colder up there than it would be in Cleveland. Go make Tea King. Yeah, just it'd be so funny if put on the Be Right Back screen looping while I wait for water to boil. No, nobody else has no opinions on the Wahoo. I don't know. I think with it just being a couple announcements and not actually released, maybe people haven't been paying that much attention yet. But do I use it a lot? Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't even leave home. Like, I don't go on a single bike ride without it. It would have to be lost for me not to use it. Once you get used to it, it's impossible to ride without it. And like, even though I'm not someone who cares, like on probably 85-90% of my rides of like the little stats, once you get used to having them, it's so nice. So I just like knowing, like, it's cool to know what the grade you're riding up is. It's like, it's not gonna, I don't use it for training purposes, but it's like, oh, this is an 8% grade, that's why it feels so tough, you know? Or it's cool to just have an idea of, and I guess you don't think about it before you have one, but it's cool to know how fast you're riding. And again, not for training, just to be like, oh, that's the speed. Or like, we're talking about the wind, and that's why I could say that, you know, yeah, when I turned around the headwind, I didn't feel like I was pedaling hard, and I was doing 16, 17, and up to 18, like, without breathing hard. So it's cool for that. The other thing that I've said before, my number one reason for liking a computer, besides just the mapping thing, because your phone could do mapping too, is not having my phone. Like, I bring my phone with me, obviously. You have an emergency, or if I stop somewhere and freelance or check work email. But once you go into your phone, as you guys all know, think about this when you're like, I'm going to check the weather, and then 15 minutes later you come out and you're on Instagram, right? I love the computer because it separates that stuff. So I record all my rides to Strava. So I love the fact that all that data that's being recorded and all that mapping is completely separate from my phone. I've also said, like, an Elemnt Bolt I think is around $300. My phone is, I buy the nicer ones. I'm a power user. I hate that word, but I am. I edit photos on it. I do work on it. You know, where I go, oh yeah, you have a phone on your bars and something goes wrong, you're breaking something that cost you probably somewhere around $1,000. One, like a Wahoo, probably is not going to break, but in the worst case scenario it did. That's a very big price difference between what you're paying to get fixed, right? So, West, some people are into speed, some of us are into weed and bikes. Yeah, like I said, my reasons are not for training purposes, though they're all, I mean, they work for that stuff too. So yeah. Do I have mounts on every bike? So my two main bikes have like permanent, like, you know, more permanent mounts on there. The bike I ride the next, like, has Wahoo has the arrow mount. I just stuck it on that, and then I just bought a cheap elastic one, so that one just moves. So if I'm gonna ride like my stump jumper to put stuff on it, I'll just put that cheap little mount onto the handlebars, or my single speed. So yeah, and the mounts are cheap, and you don't even have to buy Wahoo branded ones. You could buy, you know, whatever third parties, whatever website you'd want to go on, eBay, Amazon. So yeah, I will have a mount on any bike I'm riding. So I couldn't even tell you the last ride I went on without my computer. And it's one of those things, I come home, just like with my headlight and tail light, plug it in right as soon as I save the ride. So ended up with a Garmin. Yeah, and that's what I always recommend. I know there's the other brands. I just, whenever I watch a review of one of the other brands besides Garmin or Wahoo, they're either paid reviews and I don't trust them, or they point out something that's wrong with them. Whereas Garmin's and Wahoo just seem to be pretty stable. They've been doing it so long, and I always feel like Garmin's are they have many more computers in their line, so you could pick something price point or features you want way more. But Garmin's have way more features in general. So if you're into like diving into more stuff and more customization, Garmin is the way to go. If you want something real basic, the Wahoos are the way to go. Though the new Roam is a little more Garmin-like, and then they put out that giant one, whatever that was called, about a month ago. That is much more feature-based. But if you want something super simple and super small, it'd be the Bolt. But I'm not a fanboy of any of them. I think they both have their strengths and weaknesses. So, Steve Marino, if you want to do any events, I feel like you need a bike computer. Love it for the maps and the stats. That's how I am, maps and stats. I like having my rides recorded. I like knowing how, I love the year-end numbers and all that stuff. And again, your phone could do both those, but I already listed the reasons I don't want to do it on my phone. Plus battery life. If you're on a bike camping trip, you don't want your phone to die because you've had the map on all day. Whereas, bike computers are made to last all day. So. Oh, they did come out with that tail light car indicator. Wahoo finally made one because Garmin was the main brand. I tested also Magic Shine's version of that, which worked really well. I just don't like them. The way I ride, they don't. When you ride in the city a lot, the car indicators are actually, for me anyways, more annoying. But I know tons of people who say they would never ride one without one again. So, yeah, be interesting to see how theirs works. I'm sure I bet it'll be absolutely fine. But open to pretty much any cycling computer, addicted to the numbers and the stats. Yeah. Haven't done any crazy routes, but you don't want more junk on your bars when you do. And that's why I like again, not to beat a dead horse, but the Bolt. So on my Gunner, I have it, and it's a mount that just uses zip ties. It looks clean enough, but right on the stem. So it's not like really standing out anywhere. I guess, is that the case on both of my main bikes? Yeah, I put it right to the stem. So it's kind of a nice way. So it's not even, you're not really dealing with it on the bars or anything. Like I said, if I am putting that cheaper mount onto the bars on something else, it's just not really a big deal because I'm not doing that serious of a ride. But yeah, if you're going to ride something like Nutmeg or something with tons of turns or bike camping, like not on the gap or something like that, not something that's a simple bike path, it is so nice to have the route right there and all that. So yeah, my buddy Ben, Large Marge, had one forever, and then I got one. Then Aaron got one, and now I don't think I almost ever ride with anyone who doesn't have one, and I've never heard anyone regret buying one. So if you're considering one, and now might be a good time to look at the, I don't know if they've dropped the price on the Bolt and the Roam now that the other ones are out or even used, because they do last a long time. I mean, mine is years, and I haven't really lost any battery life yet. And in the Discord, we were talking about it a little bit, and people said they're still using the version 1s with no battery issues. So, yeah. Okay. Bicycle power user, new sticker. Yeah. I have mounts on all my bikes and bells. Yeah, I need to. I really want to put I keep forgetting. I've been talking about this it's like a year since I changed my handlebars and have not put my bell back onto my Raleigh, and I really want to. I need more bells. Your Crane Suzu on your bike can be heard from a mile away. Yeah. See, that's this. So good to hear a normal person say you love your Karoo, because I just keep hearing like real mixed. I've heard just mixed reviews about them, and I know early on they had issues with not really having a good app and stuff, but they're supposedly all got it worked out now. So, hey, what's up, Dylan? Just nerding out about bike computers here for a minute, but we've been all over the place as usual. So, spent a long time talking about how bad the weather is in most places today. So. I don't know, just you had a cat eye. Padron? Yeah. They are affected by magnetic fields. You had to move it away from your battery bar when it read 54 kilometers per hour. Huh. Interesting. Yeah. Is that GPS based and it's still affected like that? Had a rear light on your on high, steady red light on your bike, and the light shut off for you 45 minutes in. Cheaper chargeable battery or something. Yeah, I only mess with USB-C now for that stuff. Yeah, I used to keep a couple spare tail lights. I was being like, oh, in emergency, I could put batteries in it. Now I'm just pretty serious about rotating, like, and just always having tail lights charged with USB-C. I won't go back on any of that. Yeah, Spur Cycle is the bell I want to put back onto my bike. Spur Cycles are so small and so loud. And one of my friends was telling me the only thing that gets Canadian geese to move. It's a real problem around here. Oh, nice. A bell's a recent addition. Saved you from getting doored a few times. Yeah. I feel like they really cut through and get more attention. You know, I always say the on the left, and even when we ring the bell, you know, gets that initial turn and usually still say on the left. But yeah, long days out when you've been riding for a while, having the bell is nice. My dad thinks they're annoying. He thinks they're rude, but
I prefer a bell other than somebody saying on your left when you're 2 feet behind you.
yeah, if you're in a conversation, hearing the on your left is, and if it's windy, you know, you're trying to do the on your left, the Spur Cycle is so like loud and cuts through. Spur Cycle bell tone is very similar to the stock iPhone text notification. I see so many people pull out their phones when you ring to pass on the path. Huh. I'm gonna have to pay attention to that and see if I ever noticed that. I've never noticed it, but it doesn't mean it's not happening.
I guess I never put that that's what my message tone is on my phone. It's a bike bell.
Oh, on purpose? So
no, I didn't even put the two and two together.
Yeah. Oh, stem mounted one. I had, what bike did I have a stem mounted one on my vintage Trek. It's a Velo. That one's a Velo orange bell, and I mounted on the stem, like, so it's got like that, just kind of ring it sideways like that. Oh, the cat eye Padron doesn't use GPS. Okay, yeah, so totally different kind of computer. Yeah, more old school. Yeah, no one ever complains about Spur Cycle bells. Wow, the chat just jumped like 20 comments. Except they're expensive, but they're made in the U.S. They're super high quality and they're super loud. Like I said, also small for how loud they are. So, hey, what's up, David Geller? I don't think I've ever even noticed this one. The cheaper plastic Spur Cycle bell is solid. I think they called it the discrete model or something. Only works for flat bars. Interesting. Yeah. Pat, what's up? Said love a bell, but shocked how many people it just pisses off. Yeah. I guess that just anymore though, it doesn't really bother me because those people are like usually the people who are not good at like sharing a path anyways. People walking the path not paying any attention or with their dog like leash all the way across the entire path. So it's like, yeah, you're
also, not saying that they're doing that, but you know, don't ring the bell when you're up on somebody.
Yeah, you should try to get their attention farther back. Yeah. Which is what Spur Cycles are really good for, because cheap bells, you have to be closer. But plus, if you ring your bell when you're right up on someone, you never know what they're going to do. You know, because
that's what everybody's been dealing with it all week. Just, I don't know, cyclists in the middle of the day on a bike path are the worst.
Oh, yeah?
Just absolute assholes.
That's when I ride a lot, but yeah.
You're an asshole.
Did they have aero bars? Let's just.
Oh, it's all the
Yeah.
typical.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking, like, because I always try to say, like, that I don't care if people wear kit, I don't care if people love road bikes, but I know how much of my opinion of roadies is colored from when we worked at Soleil's.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, remember how, like, we had to stop putting samples out right away in the morning because those crews would roll through before we were even really open and come and mow down all the samples and never buy anything?
Mm-hmm.
And clippity-clopping around in road shoes with their wiener out. I'm getting triggered from like how it used to be. Like, I'm just like, dude.
It's still true though.
Yeah. Oh, plastic mounting, not the actual bell. Yeah, because the Spur Cycle has like the metal straps. Yeah. Damn. This chat just went bonks.
The bells.
Yeah. Scott Copeland just landed, enjoying a Dutch lager tonight. Bells, bolts, and reflectors. Nice. Second sticker concept, loud bells save lives. Yeah. Been through a few cat's eyes. Our cat's eyes in general are like kind of the one where you would wind to like cable down to the wheel, right? And then you have a thing on your spokes and it's measuring how many times your wheel goes around, and that's how you're getting your speed and everything. Like, crane bells, yeah, crane bells are good too. Yeah. Stephanie, what's up? I considered a rubber chicken taped to the stem. I've seen people do that. Yeah.
I'll tell you what works is we had found at work like an old, I don't know what they're called, the horn where.
Oh.
Yeah. We had found it on the side of the trail, so we put it in because for greenways you drive down the trail, you can't walk miles to do some maintenance.
Yeah.
So people get pissed with a car on the trail, and then you can't ever give them
the horn on
polite honk. So you would just do the and they would like, you can't be mad at that.
No, yeah, you can't be mad at that sound. I feel like my knockoff Schwinn's Stingray had one of those on it.
I'm sure that's what it came off of, or like a tricycle or something like
that. Yeah. Maybe I'm really throwing it back, and maybe it was like my tricycle growing up had one. Oh, I need to get one of those now. I should find one on eBay. Because I don't want a new one.
No.
It's got to be old. It's got to have some patina. Yeah, spring's always the worst, David, like on the trails, because one, I always try to give some grace to the idea that there are people who would be hiking if it was dry and they wouldn't be on the bike paths. But it also just brings out a lot of people, like I always say, who are like, I'm going to walk this year. And they come out for 2 weeks and then you never see them again. Me and Aaron were joking on Sunday that there were a bunch of people getting their one ride of the year in, because saw a lot of people on bikes that not that I recognize everyone who rides a bike around, but you could just tell. You could tell a noob. Or when everything's like totally perfect, it's like they got everything ready for this ride, but they ain't gonna ride again. Any more details on the fire at Eddie's at the old Century Cycles in Peninsula? I have not heard anything. Everybody, like, there was a bunch of speculation, but I never heard anything about it. I guess you wouldn't really get any information about them because it's in Peninsula. It wouldn't really have to do with the metro parks.
I heard something because I was asking, I didn't know it was a total loss like that.
Oh, yeah, just like.
But asking why they haven't done anything, and apparently it's still under investigation.
Yeah, and then also people are speculating that they wouldn't be able to rebuild like on that site unless there's some kind of grandfather thing, because that was right up on the river.
Yeah, that could also just be a Peninsula thing too. Peninsula's real uppity about stuff.
Yeah. I mean, there could be, just regulations on the Cuyahoga. Yeah.
Well, that too, right? Yeah. A lot of things working against it.
Yeah. Oh, you've snapped a couple of the mounting brackets on Spur cycles? It was from sweating and salt corroded it. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's metal, but wow. I wonder where you had yours placed that you got enough sweat on it to corrode it off like that. But yeah, I wouldn't have even thought of breaking one of those. But 100 yards back, and the lady just looked at you with her dog pooping. Yeah, one of the things with like spring trail users too that blows my mind is like bikes pass them coming towards them, and you see them move your dog, and then you're coming from behind, and they have the dog back across the trail. It's like, don't you think people ride this trail in the other direction that you can't see, you dumbass? Like, I'm always like, man, you're gonna walk on the bike path, like you got. And again, they're multi-use trails, they're not just bike paths, but you have to have some awareness. And bike cyclists need to be at a speed where they control themselves too in situations, you know. But yeah, little kids run around. I'm not happy when I see some cyclists fly around people either. But yeah, it goes both ways. But a lot of times people are walking with paying no attention. So joggers with their headphones in, drifting down the middle of the trail. So Randy, I just hollered ding ding, and people seem to like that better than a bell. Well, I gotta shift my legs. Edmund, are you ready for this? I'm never gonna be able to get up if I don't move. Loud bell is better if using it farther back. Yeah. Wes, in Texas, I rarely use a bell, but in Colorado, everyone has a bell. Yeah. Yeah, and again, keeping everyone safe is more important than not annoying someone. So, let's try this position, bud. I can't even move this leg now. Use bikes, this story. Oh, so you're getting passed by someone with a bell? When you're riding at a decent clip sometimes, it's also like you hear a bell and it takes you a minute to realize what's going on. Because it's like, not to toot my own horn, but I'm not getting past that often. Yeah, you can tell when people are not used to the bike path. And yeah, like the entitled feeling. It's definitely, I mean, the worst trail users are the suburban moms who are walking and just talking and not paying any attention. That's the worst trail user there is.
Pretty deep.
Yeah. Like, why? Every time you pass them, they're looking at you like you did something wrong. You know, it's like, yeah, I'm riding my bike on a bike path. When you're in your SUV and I'm on the road, you're also mad at me. You're just the worst in every aspect. So, with their wiener out might need to be a t-shirt. Yeah. On your main winter bike, you have a bell and a horn. Escalate to the horn if someone isn't hearing the bell. Nice. Huh. How do they get the speed? How are they calculating the speed without the cable down to the sensor on the wheel? Because I had one of those. I don't think mine was Cat Eye brand, but when I first got back into cycling, my dad got me one of the, it had the screen and it kept your mileage and everything. You had to calibrate it, but it still didn't you have to run a wire down to the wheel still? Maybe not. Maybe it just.
They have wireless.
So it is just
a long time, yeah.
You just put a thing on the spoke, and it's how far it's going, and it could censor it from up there.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just wireless.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now I'm picturing mine, and it was wireless. Yeah, you're right. Oh, Eddie's opened up in a barn down the road in Peninsula? Did not know that. Huh. Guess I've been out of the loop, but I don't think I follow Eddie's anywhere, but I follow Peninsula and stuff like that. So.
Not the Players Barn. They tore that down.
They tore the Players Barn down?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, that sucks. Now every time I ride by, I can't be like, there's my barn. Because that was one of my favorite jokes. Plus, that was also like a historic barn that was converted into a theater. So that's a bummer.
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, it sat empty for a while, but they always were working on it, at least doing something.
Yeah, why wouldn't they give it to what's his name up the road, anyways, who does the farming with horses and everything?
Yeah, shoot, that's like right next door to him.
Yeah, that's the barn that would have went with the farm property as. Huh, that sucks. What's up, Dimitri? How many maps have you missed? Just one, actually. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Farley? You said you believe the barn is just for rentals, huh? The Eddie's temp barn is just doing rentals. Yeah, gotcha. Lots of appetite for bells. 2 bells should be a state law. D-ski, bike, kayak, etc. I say on your left, and sometimes I do use the coming round you. And also, if I'm on like a sidewalk or a bridge, like I ride that bridge almost every day, the high level bridge, and that's, I'm supposed to be out on the road, but the road right there is terrifying to ride. So I always use the coming round you there and go real slow, but that's because I'm in a space I'm not supposed to be. But yeah, the on your left does sometimes make people go left, but that's also one of the problems when they don't hear you far enough in advance. So. And there's the Marine air horn. Yeah. I've seen people do videos where they mount like super loud horns, or even just, yeah.
It's a good way to piss somebody off.
Yeah, you'll. The bell on single track doesn't work. Hikers, even other bikers, are just not picturing a bell sound on dirt and don't know what it is. Yeah, I guess I don't. My experience with that is so limited because I just usually not passing people on mountain bike trails. But for Dylan, I'm sure that's common to need to get around him. In general, yeah, I guess I feel like when we're riding mountain bike trails, I almost like, I feel like with a lot of the places we ride, they're curvy enough that you can tell someone's coming up on you. Like at Hampton, I feel like if I'm going to get past, I usually know someone's there and I pull off to the side. But yeah.
I think he's talking about people walking.
Oh, yeah, if you're on a mixed hike, and yeah, we don't have a lot of that around here, though.
Not much.
Yeah.
Up in Cleveland a little bit.
Yeah, Bedford, people hike on Bedford, but yeah. I always wonder why, too. Because like Bedford Reservation is huge, and I wouldn't want to go hiking somewhere where bikes would be coming around me.
Right.
That doesn't sound fun. Like,
there's a few spots down in Stark somewhere. I can't think of the name of the place. But yeah, doesn't sound like a good time.
Yeah. Dennis, I don't get the joke because I've never seen Captain America. Oh man, Dylan, that's so annoying. Twice so far this season, you've been behind people on single track, gently asking to pass, then ringing the bell. They had noise canceling headphones on. That's what I say. That's just the worst. Like people who just oblivious. That's like the entitled right there. You can't do that like you're the only person in the world. Yeah. A wired sensor on the fork or stay, then a small magnetic on. Back to the cat eyes. That's what it is. You would zip tie one piece to the fork, and then as it went around.
Oh yeah.
But you didn't run a wire down. Yeah, it's all coming back to me. Like I said, I've been using the Wahoo for so long now. And before I used the Wahoo, I switched to just using Strava on my phone and just having it in my pocket, recording my rides, GPS. So. Balancing bike life. That's a good comment. People being oblivious to others like they don't exist is an epidemic right now, and not just on trails. Yes, it doesn't look like it's going to be getting better anytime soon. Yeah, I've talked about this before, Bicyclette. I try to make my routes go like a little farther to or to go places where drivers are less annoying. But last night on my way home, or yesterday afternoon, I'm coming up a brick road that's not that fast. It's supposed to be a 25-mile-an-hour road anyways, uphill. And there's this car just kind of sitting behind me. So I'm thinking they must have to just turn into one of the driveways eventually. And there's only 1 or 2 cars past me the other way. They wait a while. They're sitting behind me with plenty of time to pass. And then when they finally pass me, they angrily honk their horn at me. And I'm like, it's not my fault you don't know how to drive. And I actually got that enragement that made me ride really fast. And I saw where they lived. Oh, yeah, we just dropped way off. Huh.
Well, you followed them home? You road raged on them?
Yeah, road raged on them on my bike. I found them. They were going in the same general direction as me. But I did see them pulling their driveway, and I saw them like, oh, the temp tags, that's them. And they were walking in their house, and I was like, hey, hey. And they were so oblivious, they didn't even hear, they didn't even turn their head. Because I was going to be like, this is where you live? I'll be back. So, what time is it? Oh, 9:15? We should wrap it up anyways. I think we got enough bell talk and raged on pedestrians enough for one night. All right, yeah, I should be streaming next week. There's nothing on the schedule that would prevent me from doing so. But yeah, probably have a video out this weekend as well, or on Thursday, depending. So, and even our trip out to the East Coast the Hudson Valley shouldn't affect streaming or video content. Of course, the same thing happened. All the chat pops back in as soon as I try and wind it up. But yeah. That's true, Dimitri. Scaring someone who's wearing headphones never bothers me. So Dennis, it's not as funny as if you have to explain it. Just kidding. Yeah, I don't use headphones in public. I don't know. I have no issue with it. I mean, especially like open back ones and you can pay attention and stuff like that. But yeah. Benjamin, I use, and everyone thinks it's crazy, I use the straps that come with the cameras. And I even watched Petapixel, like my favorite review channel on cameras, saying how horrible straps that come with cameras are. Like, I don't have a problem with the Canon straps at all. They're rubberized on the back. They stay in place even riding my bike. I don't use a 3-point harness at all. Like, yeah. So, actually, one thing that almost any piece of camera gear I'd have advice on, and straps I don't. I actually use the Canon one that comes with it. And I don't use straps on my professional camera. Like when I shoot events and stuff, I don't use a strap at all. I feel like they're more likely to get caught and make me drop something than not having it. So like my R5, I don't have any strap on because the bag is the strap, you know.
I hate using the R8. I always take the strap on.
Oh yeah, I've noticed I've come back in the straps because the only reason I have the strap on there is because I ride with it on my back. I wouldn't put a strap.
I started putting it back on because I noticed the one time that I can't do it. I can't shoot with the strap on it.
Yeah, that goes in front of the lens. It gets caught on stuff. Yeah, Rick, who doesn't come in the chat anymore, who's also a professional photographer in Philly, always thought I was crazy, and I'm like, you pull it out of your bag. It's not already around your neck, so that's where the risk happens. Right. I've never dropped my camera out of my hand. Like I got an iron grip on that thing. Like, yeah. Anyways, yeah. So no advice. Yeah, people use earbuds. They should use one. Yeah. Yeah. What's up, EMP? But yeah, cautious drivers, being extra cautious, are more dangerous for everyone half the time. That's what that person was doing, so. Hey, J Dandy, what's up? Yeah. We didn't deep dive maps, just one map tonight, so. Bet the vegan cyclist doesn't use a bell say on your left. He just cries. Oh, EMP, you like to wear headphones just as an excuse not to talk or listen to people. I feel like if I lived in a big city and I rode a lot of public transit, I would always have headphones on. But yeah, around here it's not necessary as much. There's no one walking around in downtown after it. There's nothing to pretend. If I see anyone, I'm going to know them. So. All right. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Colby's, the spur cycles. Yeah, they're so far my favorite I've heard. Like the crane bells are good too, but spur cycles seem to be. I haven't heard one louder yet. So, all right, dudes. Oh, nice. Large dropped you a strap recommendation. So, Yeah, sling bags. I feel like the bag is the strap. That's kind of, you know, I want to put it down. It's in there. I just don't hang a camera around my neck unless I'm riding a bike. So, all right, dudes. Thanks as always. This is fun. Good chat, and see you next week.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
this time I'm just
Fitzwater photo.
La